Aloha, everybody. This is Chip Rose with ComputerSoftwareTraining.com. We got a really good one for you today regarding macros. And what we're going to do in this case is we're going to use ChatGPT to create our macro simply by prompting it and telling it, hey, this is what I want to do, make me a macro. And boom, it'll make you the macro, all right? So in this specific situation here, there are four, I think, cleanup type function formulas that we can use to kind of fix text data that might have been brought in the wrong way. In other words, it existed a certain way in the source, but when you bring it in, it comes in that same way and we don't like it. So for instance, we have something like this. Maybe your field comes in with all these different rows or items, whatever, where we've got, let's say, this is in what we would call, I guess, title case, right? And what you really would rather have it come in as is an upper, right? In other words, you want to change it to uppercase. Or maybe this one here, maybe you want this one to be, I don't know, lowercase. Maybe you want this one to be uppercase, right? And maybe you want this one to where it removes all that extra space. Now, to do that, we have to use either the upper function, the lower function, the proper function, for the title case, or the trim function. But that also involves you having to set up another column, put that formula in there, refer back to this cell over here. It then would, do whatever conversion you wanted. And then you'd have to kind of select it. You'd have to do a copy, paste values to remove the formula, and then remove, in this case, maybe column B, because you don't need that anymore, because you've got your new one there. That's a lot of work, okay? So a better way would be to create a macro that will, let's say, bring a choice of what we want to do. So you run the macro and it says, do you want to make it uppercase? Do you want to make your selection lowercase? Do you want it to be title case? Or do you just want to remove the extra spacing in there? And the great thing about this is that it's going to do it in place. In other words, we don't have to set up another column for it and so forth, right? So that's the thing. Now, if you know nothing about, VBA, Visual Basic, you're going to be in a bind, all right? And so my thought is, why not tell or ask ChatGPT to create the macro for you? So I'm going to show you the process of creating the macro, and then creating the macro through chat, and then bringing that macro into your worksheet area and running it. And that's a great thing. So how the heck are we going to do this? Well, first thing, what we need to do is we're going to launch into chat, okay? So let me just kind of launch into that at this point here. Okay, we got that. Okay, now, here's what we want to do. We need to prompt chat in a certain way to create this macro for us, right? And so how are we going to do that? Well, here's what and I already have this already pre-written, so you don't have to waste time waiting for me to type, because I'm not a very good typist. But here's what we're going to do. This will be the prompt that we're going to make in order to make this all come to life here. So look what it says here. It says, create an Excel macro that prompts to select a range that you're going to change, let's say, right? Then prompts with an input box. Okay, so you just have to know some terminology, but that would, even if you didn't say input box, if you just said prompts with a menu, that'd be fine too. But to make a selected, or to make a selection from, in this case, uppercase, lowercase, title case, or remove extra space. Now, the thing is that by just specifying that, Chat knows what that is in Excel ease, okay, or in VBA, right? So it knows to do that. And then the latter part here is me just telling it, I like to have number 1 to represent uppercase, number 2 for lowercase, and so forth. So all you'll have to do in the input box is just hit the number 1 or hit the number 2 or whatever it is, and that will then you'll run the macro. So this is all you got to type in. This is crazy, all right? So you get an idea why certain people out there are worried about this type of a command, this type of power that we have here using chat. Chat is just the god of AI, just in my opinion. Anyway, so what we're going to do is I'm going to launch into that. So start that up, and there it goes, right? And I like what chat does, where it kind of confirms with you, this is what I'm going to do, right? So you kind of read through and say, yeah, that's what we want to do. And then here is the VBA. Here's the code that's going to make that all happen, all right? Now, I'm just going to tell you ahead of time, when you're doing this on your own, maybe for other things, you might have it create a macro, you'll put that into your system, you'll run it, and it doesn't quite do what it's supposed to do, or it doesn't do anything at all. All you have to do is come back into chat and say, hey, chat, this is what happened. Chat will come back and say, hey, I think I screwed up. I think we should have done this and whatever. And boom, it redoes it. Now, you might do that 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Who knows? Depends on how you approach it initially with the prompt, right? But in any event, though, that's what we have so far. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to hit copy right there, and I'll just kind of move this over the side here for a little bit. Okay, so there it is there. Now, what's the next thing we need to do? Well, we go back to our worksheet. Here we go. There it is, right? And we're going to go into the developer, all right? Now, if you don't have the developer tab, right, you have to do that. You have to go back in and kind of customize things. And I'll just give you an idea how you do it. Let's just say, okay, I don't have the developer tab, Chip. What am I going to do? All right, well, what we'll do is we'll go up here into the quick access toolbar, into this customize area. You click onto that, right? Then you go down to more commands, right? This comes up. And what you'll do is you will go over to where it says customize ribbon. Over on the right-hand side here, what won't be checked is the developer. And all you have to do is go in here and click that. Voila, you'd hit OK, and then you'd have the developer tab. So, moving on. So you click on the developer tab, and then you go over here into the Visual Basic, all right? There we go. Now I've got some stuff in here already, but here's the idea. When you first come in, you're going to see this VBA project personal XLSB, right? That's your macro workbook. And it's something that is always open. So when you put the macro into this thing, later on, when you're on a completely different file, you can still run the macro because the macro is going to be run from this invisible worksheet that's kind of just running in the background all the time, right? So that's the beauty of this. So you have that. Now, I will say this. If you do not have that, all right, then all you need to do is go ahead and record a macro. So let me just show you what would happen. So let's just say, okay, fine, Chip, I don't have that, right? So what am I going to do, right? Well, here's what we do. You go in to your developer, you go in here where it says record macro. Just click onto that, right? Comes up with a macro name, who cares, leave it the way it is, right? But the other thing that you definitely want to do is where it says, where are we going to store this macro? we're going to store it in the personal macro workbook. Normally it comes up as, I think, new workbook. New workbook or this workbook, who cares? It's the wrong thing. So you always want to have that changed to personal macro workbook. Now you do that, right? Hit OK. Now you're recording, you're doing a recorded macro. This is where you'd go and you click on the different steps. Well, we're not interested in that. All we want to do is just create a macro that doesn't have anything in it, right? And then what you do is you hit stop. That's in the developer tab, right? Hit stop. Now by just doing that, that will then, and we go back, I'll show you, so I'll go back to my Visual Basic here. What that will do now is it will then have created this VBA project, personal XLSB, blah, 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 right? That's what it's going to do for you, right? And then it will also give you one module down here, okay? And the module is just a sheet, an almost endless sheet, like we have right here, where you can put all your different macros into, right? Now, well, so if this was the first time you did it, you would just get, module number 1, and that would be it. Now I'm going to go ahead and just double click onto that, right? And of course you can see I got all kinds of stuff in here. Now what I'm going to do, just for the sake of what we're doing, I'm just going to get rid of all that. Okay, now, so what you'll do then is you'll go to that module 1, right? And it'll open up blank. Then all you have to do is then go ahead and do a right click on it, and then go here and hit paste. And voila, there's your macro. Okay, there's the name of it and all that. Perfect. Now, muy importante, okay? You need to save this, all right? Save it right here. You hit save, little save icon there. It either goes into the background like you just saw here, or it just disappears altogether. Either way, it doesn't matter. Okay, now, at this point then, now you want to run the macro, right? So how the heck are we going to do that? Well, you go back to your developer tab. You go over here where it says macros, right? And you'll have listed in here every one of our macros. Okay, and the macro that we wanted is the one called modify text in range, right? So you take that one right there. We click on to run, or you can just double click it, either one. And lo and behold, all right, so this little window pops up here, right? And the first thing it says, hey, select the range, right? So I'll go ahead and say, okay, let's start maybe with this last one here, okay? This is one where it removes the extra space. So I select that, and then I hit OK. All right, so this little menu pops up here. And then what do? Well, I want to get rid of the extra space. So I'll hit number 4. So I just type in number 4 just like that. And then I can just go ahead and hit the enter key, right? I hit that enter key. Text modifications complete. And there we go. Look at that. That is great. So what a perfect thing. So that's a nice little thing there. Now I'll give you a little extra tidbit here. Let's say that you want to add that to, let's say we want to add it to your quick access toolbar, all right? That particular macro, right? So I'll go back here and I'll click onto my customize quick access, just like that. And then I'll go down here to more commands, go over here and change that to macros, right? Find that macro. In this case, it was the personal macro, from personal macro workbook, but the modify text in range. That's going to be that one right there. Then all I have to do is I can go here, while that's selected, click on the add. There it goes. And then I can rearrange. I can put it up or down from what's in the menu here. I'm just going to leave it at the end here. And then if you want to kind of change the icon up a little bit, you can just kind of click here, hit modify, pick something that you'd like. I'm going to do you don't get much of a choice here, but I'll just, maybe I'll pick I'll pick this one right here. Some goofy 3 lines here, right? Hit OK, hit OK again, and voila, there it is, right? So now in the future, all I have to do is click onto the icon right there. That pops up. Select the range. Okay, the range in this case, I'll do this one here. And I'll hit OK. And I'll say, well, I want to make that all uppercase. So I'll hit number 1 for uppercase. Number 1, hit the enter key. Voila, all uppercase. Okay. So hopefully that'll come in handy for you guys to look into doing. It's pretty wild because it's just a lot of things you can do with this. I mean, it's just a matter of being able to describe to chat exactly what you want to do, and then chat will obviously abide by that and give you oblige by that and give you some sort of a code, which in most cases it's pretty good. But like I said, if it doesn't come out right and it's not doing what it's supposed to do, just go back into chat and say, hey, chat, it's not going. I'll give you an example what I'm talking about here. Back here again, maybe I'll come back and I'll say, hey, chat, I had a problem, running it, the macro, the menu did not display. Well, it did, but we'll just say it didn't, right? So I'm typing that in. Now watch the response to chat here, okay? Chat goes, let's make sure it works smoothly for you, all right? And then it gives you the most common reason for the input box menu doesn't show as expected as if it, blah, 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 blah. So it gives you a common excuse. And it says, okay, and here's my revised version of it. So again, you just go back and click on a copy, go back to your macro sheet there, and you'll probably find the same macro right in front of you. You can just kind of select that and delete it, or just select it and paste right on top of it, and then just rerun the macro, right? And see what happens at that point. But that's pretty wild to be able to do that interactively. And I'll just tell you one more thing with this, right? One of the big things that I teach is how to go out and procure macros from websites and different bulletin boards, things like that. But the idea with it is that you might find something that's really close to what you want to do, right? You got some fifth grader out there that said, hey, look what I did here, It's like, okay, fine. And you grab it, right? And then you go and you run it on your system, and you find out that it's not doing it right, or it's not working at all. So then what you would do is you would take that code, you'd copy it into chat and say, chat, I found this macro, and it's supposed to do blah, blah, but it's not doing it, right? Or you might say, I need you to modify the code so that it does blah, 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 right? Whatever it is, have a conversation, go back and forth with it, a few times, but eventually you'll get a rewrite of that code and go from there. So I'm telling you, what I'm showing you here is major stuff here, right? And I offer classes in this, right? To be able to do this, and you can see that on my website at computersoftwaretraining.com. But I've got a class, and I show you how to specifically prompt, how to ask it the right questions, the right statements that you make to it back and forth, and that's what I do. That's my specialty. But this is powerful stuff. I've come up with major. I'm telling you, macros that will blow you away with just a number of back and forth sessions with chat, refining what it's trying to do or what I want it to do and all that. So anyway, if you're interested, do that. Otherwise, I hope you have happy ventures with with chat in developing this. And also too, by the way, that same class I also show you how to use chat to develop formula, either UDFs, which are your user-defined functions, or it's just rigor functions that we might have to nest together with other functions to really come up with some really mind-blowing applications. I'm telling you, it's crazy. So that's also part of that macros class. Anyway, with chat. All right, anyway, thanks a lot. I appreciate you you watching this video, putting up with my my humor, and we'll hopefully we'll be seeing you again or in one of my classes. All right, well, take care. Mahalo.